Hi everyone, Mike Bernache here. Hey, I'm going to spend a little time talking to you about active reports and why I think they're valuable and useful and hopefully, something that you guys are going to want to kind of put into use in your organizations. I think you can really help some people out and, make accessing data a lot easier. So to start that, I'm going to set a little example of how this could possibly be used. And of course, I'm not advocating this, but just to show you what could possibly be done. So say your friend calls and he has 2 tickets to the best reunion rock concert of the year, and we're going to keep that with our theme of this user group. So that he's got 2 tickets to the best rock show ever, and you're excited, you can't wait to go. For me personally, it would be somebody like Guns N' Roses coming to town. But you're excited, you want to go, and you realize that it's near the end of the month. And every month, at the end of the month, you get calls and emails from people who need information. Salespeople who need to know where they're at versus their target to make their monthly bonus. Or VPs of sales who need to know how all of their regions are doing. And you start getting these phone calls because, let's just face it, they're not self-sufficient. They're not going to be self-sufficient, but this is what you do. You give them the information. So you spend time at home, or maybe you stay late at work on these days to answer these phone calls because you need to be connected to a network. So you can get into Cognos and you can pull this data. So all of a sudden your happiness becomes complete sadness until you realize, hey, let's build an active report. You can actually make a report, put all this data into this report, be able to filter it quickly with like the snap of a finger, and provide all the data that you need to give to these guys. And you can do that sitting in row 1 at the concert, head banging away. So I'm going to get into this and just show you what active reports are, and a little bit about how they're built, show you some samples at the end, and then we'll take some time for questions. We'll try and keep this to about 20 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next presentation. So here we go. So what are active reports? Active reports are interactive and intuitive standalone reports that you can format a number of different ways. So it's a different profile in Report Studio. It's relatively new, came about I believe in 10.2. So you get a set of controls that allow you to create and connect data and then wrap it up into an MHT file that you can send in a number of different ways to different people and have that utilized. So it allows the report authors to create interactive and, keyword here, disconnected reports. Authors define the variables and their interactivity. When a consumer runs a report, it is rendered as an MHT file, as I said, which provides them with a wide variety of interactive gestures. You can sort, filter, you have different tab controls and selecting. So since the entire result set is stored in an MHT file, consumers can perform these gestures and get immediate response as you are connected to the server. So some of the keys to active reports are you get, as I said, a new set of authoring controls. There's some improved performance and scalability as the versions have come out. The MHT file is actually compressed quite a bit onto 10.2 now, 10.2.1. So you can actually put a ton more data in and have a smaller footprint. As I said, it's offline, which is the key. And there's a number of ways that you can get these out to your users, and we'll talk about those in a minute. So what's it look like? So to create an active report, you'll notice if you select New in Report Studio and select your package, you will see that you can create a active report. You select the new blank active report template or an active report template, and the active controls will automatically be available. You have the ability to convert existing reports to active reports. And once you've done that, though, be careful, you can't change it back. So the active report output by default is an MHT file rather than a normal report output. When converting an existing non-active report to active, it is advised that you first make a copy. So really important to make a copy of that report to keep, just in case you make a mistake or you want to go backwards and use that other version. Really key note here is just by simply converting an existing report to an active report, it doesn't give it the interactive behavior. Rather, the step permits the author to insert active controls and modify interactive properties. So the author still must go through the steps to specify any interactive behavior. So very important to note that you can convert them, but you have to do the work to actually make them quote unquote active. You'll see here I just put a little screen print of a standard active report screen. Looks a little bit different. You kind of get this little blue ribbon at the top, and once you're in, you will see that you can actually go in and in the toolbox you can just select the active report toolbox items, and what it will do is just give you those special active report toolbox items. So there's a number of variable a number of active report controls available. So in the layout controls, there's a tab control, so that's used for grouping similar report items. You can use decks of cards, so that's kind of like layering report items. You can hide or show list columns, which allows the user to control the data they see by using checkboxes, and I'm going to show you some examples of these different things shortly. You can use list and drop-down list controls, interactions with charts that drive data, radio buttons, checkboxes, toggle buttons, push button controls. So there's a number of things that you can use here. Many of the controls, there's two versions available. There's a data-driven version where values come from a data item, and then there's a static version where the author manually defines the values the control can contain. Okay, so you'll see on this slide here, you'll see a radio button group, which is the static version, and then there's a data radio button group, which is driven by data. Also, data containers such as lists and crosstabs are also considered controls in an active report, and you can add them just like any other active report item. Active report variables pass information from one control to another. So variables are created automatically when you define connections between controls, but they also may be created and modified manually. So active controls communicate with one another through active variables. Any individual control may assign a value to one or more active variable. Each control may also react in some way based on the content of an active variable. You see here, this is kind of just a little shot of what it looks like in Report Studio and where you would click to start identifying this interactive behavior. So this screen capture above here shows the interactive behavior dialog for the selected control. So once you hit that little button on the previous slide, you would get into here. So the user may use this control drop-down list to select the specific control they wish to modify. So in this example, the user selected data checkbox group 2. Okay, the left side of the interactive behavior dialog indicates what variables, if any, will be set by the user selecting a data item in the specified control. The right side of the dialog box shows the reaction this control will take if a variable is set to a specified value. The reaction will be in response to a variable being set by another control in the report. So in the example above, on the screen here, the data checkbox group 2 control is, on the left side, setting one variable, product type variable 1, to contain the value of the product type selected by the user on the control. On the right side, it's filtering the list of members in the control to only show those where the product line is in the variable, which is called product line variable 1. This variable was set by a different control. The reaction options also include container select, which will highlight the members in the control or enable, disable the control based on the value of the variable. As you can see here, I've just expanded out all the different items in the active report functions in the toolbox. So you'll see the two sets of each that we talked about. There's also a number of different sliders and list box and buttons that you can add to the reports. And I went through, and I'm going to leave this up a little for a few minutes. You're also going to post these on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and you know, they'll be available to go through. But this just gives you a highlight of what each of those does. So you have a deck and a data deck. So the deck provides the report author the ability to manually create the desired number of cards. Decks are useful when the content displayed on the cards differ from card to card. On the data deck, you use that to automatically create a card for each data item value that was used to drive the data deck. So deck is static, data deck is driven by data. You have tab controls, okay? You have button bars and toggle bars at the top, different radio button groups, and as I get into, I have a number of MHT files that I've opened for us to look at here shortly. There is checkbox groups and drop-down list. You can input list box and different sliders and things of that nature to add into your report. So to save an active report, normally when you go in and you're building a report in Report Studio, you hit the little arrow at the top and it gives you a number of options to run the report. You can run it as an XML or an Excel file, a PDF. Well, in an active report, you actually get the option to run the report, or you can download and save the report. So you would click that down arrow, you would download the report, you can save the report to a location that everyone can access, so you may need to set up a network drive link, or maybe it's just for you, maybe you want to email it to somebody. So this is different than from just saving the report in Report Studio. There are a number of different deployment strategies that can be used with active reports. You can, as I said, email them, and what would happen, like any other attachment in an email, you would double click it and it will open in your web browser, and it will be, have everything that you built into that report. You can set them up to be used on Cognos Mobile. As I said, you can set up a network area to have them saved to, or you can actually just save them to Cognos Connection and use them out of there. Also, for those of you who have iPads, I'm not sure if it's available on the Android tablets at this point in time, but on the iPad, on the App Store, there's an IBM Cognos app, and there are a number of different active reports that are samples on that you can use and see what it would look like on a mobile device. I must say they're really cool. There's, for you NFL football fans out there, there's a really cool NFL active report out there actually. So if you have a chance, if you haven't already, check it out. Also, kind of off topic, but there is a new app for IBM called Redbooks. So you can download that, and it has some great information for those of you who use and read the Redbooks. Their information on almost anything you can think of is out there. So it's a really neat app as well to use. This is just a couple screen prints here of just a simple active report. As you can see, there's a drop-down box at the top that will take a list report and filter that down by North America or whatever you're choosing, and then also filter the chart to the right. This is a little more in-depth dashboard type active report, but again, this is similar concepts, just more information on it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over to my screen here and just show you a number of active reports that I have downloaded. So as you can see up top, it's a MHT file. It is just sitting on my hard drive. Okay, I'm not connected to Cognos at all. And what you will see is that you can interactively flip through the different items in the report. So this report here is just showing a number of different things. Okay, product, profit by product type, price and cost, revenue. Okay. Here's another active report that shows some different things, like you click this button here and you'll end up with a slider where you can actually take and move the data. So you can change it from Central Europe to Northern Europe to Southern Europe. Okay, these are clickable, so you can show different views. This is a little more in depth, sort of like a dashboard would be. You can change from different tabs. So this is revenues by region, okay, with a number of different charts showing different things. You can see here that camping equipment is highlighted because that's what we're on up top. We could change that to golf equipment, and you'll see that the highlighting changes, and some of the different items change as well. We can change this to product brand sales, and with a drop down, change different items to show different things. Here's the top performers report, okay? And then here's a regional performance report, again, highlighting different things. Lastly, there's in the samples that IBM provides, there's actually a active report techniques active report, which is kind of neat. So it kind of shows you some things that you can do, and you can actually follow along the templates that are provided if you go into the Report Studio version. If you open this actually up through Report Studio, you'll be able to see how these are built. But as you can see, this just shows you how you can change different displays using a tab. This uses a slider, which changes different things and highlights different pieces of information. This here shows that you could actually put a picture or some sort of frame of reference in and click on it to see different details. This actually has a drillable component to it, so you could actually drill through to a different report. Again, showing you that you can have different pieces that explode like this. Again, a slider with a map of the United States showing quantities sold. Darker are the more quantities versus lighter or white, which have very few quantities. A top metrics that actually rolls, this is kind of neat. Different control lists, so this could be at the top of an active report, and this could narrow down all the information below it. Again, different items that you can click on to filter the data. And lastly, just showing that you could also control this with a tree controller, tree prompt. So there's a number of different things. The possibilities are somewhat endless in how you can set this up and use them. So now you have this active report that you could build. You can go to that concert. You can enjoy the concert. You get that email. Boom! You pull up your own email that you've saved the report to. You open it up and you can provide that information just like you were sitting in your office. You don't have to worry about missing that show. You can go out and have a great time. Hopefully this just gives you a quick rundown of what active reports can do for you. Please let us know if we can help you with these. They're definitely worthwhile to look into, and we'll certainly love to talk to you about it. We're going to go ahead and answer any questions that you might have, and I really appreciate you taking your time to be a part of our group. I think this is our third or fourth user group now. I believe it's our third, and we have grown considerably in the members in this group. So we've gone from, I think, maybe 15, 16, 17 in the first one to upwards of 50 to 60 for this one, which is great. We're very proud of that, and we want to keep providing great information for everybody. So if you have any topics that you want us to provide, even if we don't have an expert on it, we will find you one. I think we showed that as our last user group. We had David Cummings come in and give a great presentation about dynamic cubes. So we're willing to put the information out there and keep hosting these and hopefully give you guys some great information. Again, I appreciate your time, and we'll answer any questions you have now. Thank you.